Good morning, Sierra Vista, and welcome to another edition of On the Field with Jarad and Jon.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, Jon?
Very good. How are you doing, Jarad?
Good, man.
You sound a little under the weather.
Yeah, we all do this time of year. It's called ragweed. Thank you very much, Arizona Desert.
I'm going to be blowing my nose. I've had the runny nose all day. We're hacking and coughing.
Sorry about that, folks. We're going to have a little bit of congestion.
That's okay.
It's just the way of the beast this time of year.
And as you can see in the background, and thank you to Ed Morse for sponsoring us. Thank you to all of the
Synergy
Cool FM,
Home Care,
Synergy.
everybody that does support our live sports here in Cochise County. This is ALA playing Tohono O'odham Nation last night in a very tough battle. ALA squeaked it out at the end. And there's a man right there that just drove up the court. His number is 3. His name is C.J. Williams. I know you might be hearing a little bit about him on Cool FM lately. The guy's averaging like 49 points a game.
And maybe even more. So they said that he possibly scored 57 last night. And so we sit next to the scorer's table as we're broadcasting. And we were making marks down. So I counted to 50, I think I got to 52, but we, broadcasting and letting everything go, I may have missed a couple points. Someone comes over and they're like, yeah, he didn't get 60 today. And we're like, well, I counted 50. He's like, no, 57. So he's leading the nation in scoring. Now, not on max preps, but as far as high school scoring goes, what I've been talking to the coach and everybody over there is they haven't been sending the statistics in because they don't want the statistics to skew what the team has done. So C.J. Williams, when we were talking to Coach Williams and C.J., he was talking about how all of his teammates all made him better. And he was like, this is a team game. I may be doing all the scoring, but all these guys, if they're not there, I got nobody to pass to. I've got nobody to play defense. I've got nobody to make those rebounds. And I'll tell you, some of these, these are all freshmen, by the way. CJ's the only one. He's a junior, and he's taking on seniors. Very, very tough competition, and he plays guard, so he plays point guard. A lot of shooting, but he's actually a pass-first point guard. He just doesn't really have a lot of scoring options, and they're trying to,
work on that. That's what you grow on in the off season, and continue to help develop these kids.
And there's the basketball tournament today over in Benson, the Winter Classic. So if you are following local Cochise sports and you wanna know what's going on, there's a Benson basketball tournament today. I believe is the last day of it, and then there's a wrestling tournament. We'll get to that in a little bit. But what's the name of that one? The
Marana Duels.
Marana Duels. We're gonna be.
Our current Buena wrestling team is hashing it out on the mat. According to Coach Williams, they had a very tough Friday, but they're gonna, hope to put 2 to 3, maybe even 4 in the medal round. Not sure, not sure about the girls.
Dude, that'd be great.
But there is a younger team at Buena this year. I know that there's some guys that are there. I mean, the middle class, the middle weights are more seasoned. You got Charlie Price there at 160, and a couple of the other guys. But there's a lot of new faces.
Williams, 215.
Yeah, there's a lot of new faces in that program. So, it's a good thing going. There's a lot of good coaches on that staff, so
and
they know what they're doing.
The kids that aren't even like the kids that are the wrestlers, the main wrestlers. There's kids behind them that are incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Cooper Kraus. I believe he's a sophomore or a junior. But he wrestles at 190, and they already have a 190 that's a beast. So he wrestles down at JV, but he says that what he does the wrestling for is purely to make him better at all the other sports that he does. So, and that makes a lot of sense. I highly recommend. I wasn't much of a wrestler, but if you play football, I highly recommend wrestling and baseball. So those two, if you want to throw a ball, catch a ball, and if you want to be tough and be able to manipulate a human being like blocking and twisting and stuff like that, wrestling is the way to go.
Yeah, tackling.
Yep.
Tackling better, wrapping up, legs and all that kind of stuff. It goes hand in hand.
Yep.
So, let's talk a little bit about some other things going on in Cochise County. You know, we're wrapping up the second quarter of all of our school district years, getting ready to finish our first semester, and you know, everybody going into winter break. Buena is going to be starting a tournament, I believe, Thursday, somewhere up in Tucson, possibly.
Okay.
But they're 5-0. They won last night. So Miguel
Yeah.
Duran.
Yeah.
Is it Duran?
Yeah, no,
Duran.
Julian Duran.
No.
There's a Duran.
Julian Duran. Reset the school record last night.
Oh,
Did you
yeah,
see
yeah,
that
yeah,
on
yeah,
Cool
yeah.
FM?
Yeah.
12
3-pointers.
three-pointers in one game and 2 free throws for a total of 38 points.
How do you get 2 free throws? That's
He
the.
He got a foul somewhere in there.
You
but-
must have been standing out at the 3-point line, just chucking that sucker in.
Yeah,
I
and he's
love
very good at it.
Oh.
As soon as he receives the ball, he's good at shooting it. He's got that.
Catch and pop.
Yeah, he just has that catch and pop mentality of shooting his three, and he's so accurate.
Yeah.
He just does it all day long.
Yeah.
And he just works on that constantly as an individual, and it showed last night, and it just kind of worked for him.
When you get hot, man, sometimes it gets so hot you just start burning your fingers. You got to keep pitching the ball to that man. I mean,
they
every
did.
sport, man.
So hats off to Julian. Congratulations on the new school record. Previously held by Keno Bellinger, and he was a previous player within the last few years. He had 11 threes in one game. So kudos to Julian, and I hope you can maybe reset your record some other game this year. Maybe against Troya. I would love to see that one for sure.
Stuff like that is what gets you into college.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like you see a lot of the stuff that CJ is doing, that's really, really hard to do. High level of expertise and athleticism. But what Julian did is what a lot of my friends did is like, you may not be necessarily the most accurate guy, but if you can show that you can shoot from anywhere on the court, I mean, a small school, a big school, everybody needs a guy that can pick and pop, that can play the perimeter, especially now. You know, the basketball's kind of changed quite a bit since you and I played basketball, where everybody was elbowing everybody, slashing
A
the
lot more
lane.
physical.
It
We
looked
came from the Detroit era of playing basketball.
Basically, you end up bloody every game.
Yeah.
You know, it was a
Big
little.
old black eyes,
It's a little bit like football.
crooked nose coming out of some games.
Man, that's so true. Yeah, all the scratches, oh man, I'm not even going to go too far because I've seen some broken ankles and some
yeah.
really actual broken ankles, fibulas and stuff. So as far as Cochise County's going, there's a lot going on this weekend. I mean, winter break's coming up, and
Trying to get everything finished before that. So
yeah,
get some good tournaments in, and you know, everybody will continue to practice over that break, but you know, we'll have to see how that goes because you're going to go into some conference play. Most of your teams are going to end up going into full conference play when they come back from the break. So as far as basketball, soccer.
Soccer is another one we covered. Holy smokes. And I'll tell you, the kids over at Buena put on the video. So if you want to see some high quality video, those high school students put on the last game on Cool FM all by themselves. We did the audio, but those kids, I didn't tell them anything. They just went and did it. They're amazing kids. Tim Ingle, the assistant coach, and also the director over there, the teacher over there. So thank you to Buena and the school, and we're trying to get everything up and going. So do you want to move on to college, or do you have anything else?
Let's talk about a little history today.
Let's get
So
fancy.
everybody this time of year tends to gather around the TV and watch a classic, good old-fashioned, solid performance between two military academies.
Right.
And it's the annual Army-Navy football game.
The last regular season of the college season is today, and it's also the first day of all the bowl games, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But they are both armed forces related too. That's kind of cool too.
So we have the 125th meeting of the Army versus Navy.
Wow.
And I believe that's for the Commander's Cup. Is that what they call it?
Let's see what it's called. I think that's what it's called. I mean, and Horvath is the running quarterback from Army.
Oh my gosh, you talk about a team.
Or Navy, I mean. Yeah, and they play a wing option, which is really fun to watch. It's like old school football, and they did it so well this year. Army's ranked number 22. Navy isn't ranked, but Navy has played super well this year. But Army really showing that, like, smart kids can play football, man. Like, those kids.
Yeah, I mean, I watched them run the midline option, which is right off the 2-hole. Mm-hmm. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Yep. Right up the middle, between guard and center. And that quarterback shows his patience. So he's looking right into where this block is going to be held, and if the block is done right, I mean, the kid sits there and fakes the handoff, and he follows the guy right into the hole. Mm-hmm. So that good old-fashioned midline option is beautiful.
It's kind of like having a lead blocker.
Yeah, and and then you can bounce out to the outside or keep going up the middle or wherever you're going. You're going to get about 6 to 7 yards, regardless of just getting through that hole. I mean, it's effective if you got a good O-line
and they've got to play action out of that, and they've got a good tight end. I mean, some really talented kids.
So, being that we are here in Fort Huachuca in our backyard, right behind us here in the mountains, we're going Army. As much as we have a lot of sorry Ben, I love you to death, brother.
Good dude.
But I know you're going for your midshipman, but it's time to see who the big boys came to play today, and the big boys have got Navy in the way, and they're gonna take
this.
Go ahead.
All right.
So Navy is gonna put up a fight. It's probably gonna end up being a 14-12 or a 14-10 game.
14. I'm saying 7-3. Man,
it could be.
Those games are
I don't know about the weather. The weather I saw was supposed to be snow.
Oh man,
there might be some white on the ground.
Yep.
But what's the coolest thing is when they do they'll do the song, the fight song that the Navy sings, and then they bring their version of their air to fly over.
Yeah, they get their own flyover.
And then the Army does their own thing, does their song, and then it hits, and then they have their own people fly over, do a flyover. So it's really neat. If you're into that kind of stuff, I mean, that'd be so cool to see live.
It is pretty cool. I've lived in some places where there's a lot of flyovers. We're going to move into the bowl games now. So right now, it's 17th on Tuesday, the 17th. Memphis is going to play West Virginia in the Frisco Bowl.
Who has a new head coach used to be around this area.
Really?
Rich Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah, Rich Rodriguez.
Under control of West Virginia Mountaineers.
Dude, that's who else went back to their old school? Someone else went to,
Scott Frost.
That's who it was, Scott Frost.
Going back to Central Florida.
And I want to say that there's another one that is going back, but we'll move on for now.
We know about the coach that's leaving Marshall and going to Southern Miss, and pretty much his entire team is in the transfer portal following him.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to see the transfer portal used that way, but hey. I mean,
take your entire team with you to wherever you're going. All those old recruits.
There should be a limit. I mean, they should start to really hammer down on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you kind of wonder what that's going to look like in the future if teams are just going to walk away.
Well, if you haven't been paying attention in the local news, you'll see that it's happening up in Tucson, unfortunately, right now. But we're getting a little bit of signees here and there, so we're rebuilding. We got the actual. Speaking of Marshall. U of A just hired the offensive coordinator.
Oh, really?
From Marshall. And he has a lot of background with the air raid offense that Mike Leach and all those guys built back in the early 2000s and late 90s.
Yeah.
Hal Mummy and Mike Leach and all those guys that built.
West Virginia actually had a really good one with Rich Rodriguez back in the day, too.
He runs the air raid, too. So to see the air raid coming into Tucson again, because
high flying.
Last time it was there was Sonny Dykes. So, and Sonny Dykes is at TCU now, and he's kind of brought it back down to a little bit more of a run-pass balance. But I think with Noah Fafita, I know he's losing Tetaroa McMillan. McMillan declared for the draft Tuesday.
Yeah.
So he's going to be one of the top 4, top 5.
Oh, top 4, yeah.
Receivers. He'll be picked within the first
He'll
5,
be the second wide
6
receiver.
picks.
It'll be Travis Hunter, and then it'll be McMillan. And then there's probably going to be 2 or 3 quarterbacks in between. They're thinking maybe Ward, of course, Shadur, Sanders. And, there's always a guy that comes and goes, and you don't see him coming like a defender that could be a defensive lineman that's just a mammoth. They got a couple 290 guys that are playing defensive end. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll talk about the next bowl game. We'll go down all the bowl games, and we'll just see what we say, or we'll see what we see and explain. California versus UNLV in the LA Bowl. So,
Isn't that the Gronk Bowl?
Oh, is that the one? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I think it's the Gronk
Gronk owns that bowl game. He's the one that helped put that one together. I guess that's the reason why.
Friday, December 20th starts the first round of the playoffs.
Dude, this is where it's at. Indiana, Notre Dame. You have to be watching these. So that'll be next Friday. And then, am I right on that?
Yeah.
Okay, next
I'm going
Friday.
Fighting Irish there.
Indiana. Yeah, I'm gonna take. Golly, I'll take. I'll take Notre Dame. Yeah, I think you're right. That defense from Indiana is pretty insane, though, and I don't really trust. No, I'll take Indiana. I'm taking Indiana. Okay, I trust their defense. SMU, Penn State. What do you think?
Nittany Lions.
Yeah, Penn State forever on this one. I'm not really sure why
SMU's not gonna. They're not gonna back down, but
no, but
it might. We'll have to see how it starts out.
They're not the same category of football teams,
True.
Clemson versus Texas. Oh, man. And did you see what they were saying about Quinn Ewers? He's going to go to the draft, and they're going to let Arch Manning play quarterback next year. He's like, I'm just going to let him go. I'm like, that's the better quarterback, though. Every time they get him in there, he is so athletic. You can see those his dad played wide receiver, so he is the nephew of both Peyton and Eli Manning, and the grandson of Archie Manning. And great player. He is the son of Cooper Manning, the wide receiver that never made it to college, but he's considered the best athlete in that family, in that Manning family, the oldest son. So would like to see more of Archie. But we'll see. Arch Manning. I always get that screwed up. Tennessee, Ohio State. I'm taking Ohio State all day on this one. I don't know why. Tennessee, I get it. They played pretty well, but I don't understand everything, I guess.
That's my upset of the college football playoffs.
Tennessee.
I'm calling Tennessee.
Oh my gosh, you heard it here. So I'm taking Ohio State big time. But that is big.
I am a firm backer of Josh Heupel. I love his attitude.
Yeah.
His offense. His offense is no huddle, flash bang. We're gonna dink and dime you down the field until we get the big opening, and then we throw the big deep ball, or we run it down your throat 3 times out of 4, and we get a first down. Or if we're 4th and 1, we're gonna get a real quick either run, or we're gonna get a little slant in for 7 or 8 yards more, and that's the way he gets you. So as long as they can, get their offense rolling, it's gonna be hard for Ohio State. But Ohio State's Ohio State. So.
Oh, I think Ohio State's.
Ryan Day is not the greatest.
That's a good point. No, I mean, out of everybody
right now.
No,
so we'll see.
He's kind of on that. He's got that hot seat feeling. Don't you get that vibe? So then we go to Syracuse and Washington State at the Holiday Bowl at Syracuse, right?
Still in San Diego.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say
Syracuse has a long way to go, though. So that's kind of
I was gonna say maybe Washington State pulls that off.
Oh, that'd be fun. I would love that. 61. They're expecting 61 points out of that one. Iowa State versus Miami. I think this is the non-playoff bowl game that you probably want to see.
Yeah, Rocco's done a good job of playing quarterback and running that offense at Iowa State this year.
Mm-hmm. And their defense is incredible.
Yeah.
Miami, they've got Denzel Ward. I mean, look at this.
Ward.
Cam Ward, shoot. I'm sorry. You can go through all the, let's see. It doesn't. Oh, those are all the injuries. They aren't showing all the stud players. Well, that's weird. Okay, let's move on to BYU versus Colorado.
Holy cow, a Big 12 rematch.
And did you see that Colorado is projected to win this one?
What?
I know.
Wow.
I don't necessarily get it. Yeah, so BYU is ranked number 17 in the Alamo Bowl versus Colorado. And
Let's
Colorado.
hit those stats real quick.
Yeah.
You might have some transfer portals there.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, there you go. Cody Epps.
Look at that. Yards.
Did you go back?
Yep.
Cody Epps is leaving.
It looks like he's injured. Those are all.
No, it's just questionable because transfer portal.
Okay.
So, Hinkley or Ropati is, I don't know, that might be leaving to go. And I mean, they might have already got their degree, because
those kids
some
are
of
like
these
25.
athletes, some of these athletes graduate in December.
Yeah.
And they might already have jobs, and they're like, well, I got to go to work.
Shoot, those BYU kids already have jobs and kids and
Full on family.
yeah, they have
Exactly.
grandkids already.
I got a kid on the way. That's why it says undisclosed. I'm not giving it away. My third kid's gonna be born.
So the bowl game for Army, Independence Bowl, Marshall versus Army. Army has one more regular season game, and they're still.
Well, it might be an Army forfeit because Marshall's leaving. The whole team's leaving Marshall.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
If they leave and they're all in the transfer portal, there's no team to field.
Dude, I would play in that game if they let me. I would just get beat up and just say, hey, I played on that football team. I was a nobody. Iowa versus Missouri in the Music City Bowl.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm taking Iowa big time on that one.
Yeah, I think a Big 12 shows up. Big 10.
I love Mizzou
Mizzou
defense, but I think it's Iowa. Michigan versus Alabama. Good Lord.
Wasn't that in the college football playoff a couple years ago?
Yeah, a couple. I'm going to take Alabama. I don't know.
You go ahead and take them. I'm taking the Wolverines.
All right. I like that. South Carolina versus Illinois. South Carolina was a great team this season. They had 3 losses.
Beamer Ball is back.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I love seeing Frank's son having the success at that program. I see huge things happening at South Carolina.
Yep, and Illinois is no slouch either. They're going to be playing in the Citrus Bowl. And, South Carolina's projected to win that one, but Illinois is a really tough team. Any team that starts with an I this year has been really – Iowa, Indiana, Iowa State, blah, blah, blah. And then the next round, let's go on to the next round real quick, and then we'll move on to NFL. So like we were talking, these are all the first-round buys. So you've got Boise State, Arizona State, Oregon, and Georgia. 3 West Coast teams. 3 West Coast.
Thank you very much, NCAA, for recognizing that we have football out here on this side of the country.
And
we have darn good football.
I honestly prefer West Coast ball, but I'm starting to kind of come around to that East Coast football type stuff.
You're from close to the Eugene area.
Oh, yeah.
You were watching that high flying, nonstop turf show.
I used to watch Oregon and Washington when both of them were really good. So like back in the early 2000s, they had a guy Neuheisel, and they were ranked really, really high. And this is just as Oregon was coming up. They'd always been pretty good at the time, but like Oregon was doing that liftoff thing where they were talking about going to championships and everything, and they knocked Washington out of the. They beat them in the, what's that called? It's not the Apple Cup. It's the Oregon versus Washington Bowl, whatever.
Can't remember that one.
Oregon started beating them all the time, and then that's where Oregon took off, and that's where they've had so much success after that, and Washington has only recently had success since then. So they're coming back. And then we can go on to the pros. So let's see what's going on. We got, first up, Cowboys versus Panthers. Let's see, NFL. Let's go. We'll come back up to these ones in just a second, but we'll start off with the Cowboys and Panthers. So the Panthers are projected.
Carolina.
I know, right? I think I'm going to take Carolina too. And they're
Sorry, all you Cowboys fans.
Dude, they've been playing pretty well. Bryce Young doesn't look like a flop after all.
Yeah, exactly.
Miami versus Houston. That's a tight one. That's only projected to be a 3-point game. I'm going to take Houston in this one. They're at home.
Yeah, I'll go with the Texans as well.
Cincinnati versus Tennessee. I'm taking Cincinnati all day long on that one. And Tennessee's at home.
Yeah, I'm going with them Bengals. They're pretty hot.
Yeah, that last game nearly broke my heart. Commanders versus Saints.
Washington all day.
Yeah, I'm
New
going to
Orleans
take.
is really falling off. It's sad.
They have. Is Carr healthy? Didn't he
No.
break his hand?
Has a severe break in his left hand.
Yeah, so we're talking like backup quarterback. I don't even know if what's his face, the tight end, is going to play quarterback.
He's a blown ACL.
Oh, that's right, he's gone.
So they don't have any. They don't have any backup really.
No quarterbacks over there in New Orleans. Let's see, Jets versus Jags. I'm taking the Jets. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
They nearly won without Trevor Lawrence last week.
Yeah, I'll go with the Jags. I'll pull.
And it's
I'll
at
pull the
home.
opposite though. So
Yeah.
I'll go with Jacksonville.
Ravens versus Giants.
Ravens by a landslide.
Ravens are projected to win by 16 points.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and I hate the Ravens so much, but the Giants are so bad. I'll take the Ravens in this one. Steelers versus Eagles.
Battle for Pennsylvania.
I know.
Oh, I love that game. I'm going with Mike Tomlin.
Yep.
That guy knows how to flip and beat people.
It's in Philadelphia. I'm going to take Pittsburgh too. I'm right there with you. Colts versus Denver.
Cody Nix is on fire.
Bo Nix?
Bo Nix. I'm getting on that.
Shoot.
I'm getting on that Bo Nix bandwagon.
I'm telling you, he might be the rookie of the year, which is crazy to me with how well Jaden Daniels started. He still had a really good season, but Bo Nix is playing like a Pro Bowl quarterback as a rookie. I mean, 25, but still.
You have a coach named Sean Payton. It's pretty easy.
Pretty nice. Yeah, that short passing game. Buffalo versus the Lions.
This might be the Super Bowl.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, it could be. It won't be.
We might see
but
a little glimpse of it.
there is a possibility. I'm going to say.
Is that in Detroit?
It's in Detroit.
It's inside the stadium. It'll be warm.
Dude, I'll take Buffalo.
So Buffalo might do some more damage on the run.
Dude, they are so
That's
angry.
going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, that's going to be a super tight game. It's only 2.5 points
I still
projected.
got to go with my boy Dan Campbell.
All right.
I don't know. I love Joe.
I love him too, though. I would love to play for him.
My man at Buffalo, but gosh, Campbell's on fire right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Buffalo's got the better quarterback. Detroit has had a weird way of like throwing 4 picks and still winning a game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Lions, that Goff screwed that game up and still won it. He had 5 interceptions in that game and still won. It was a real Jameis Winston type of game.
Hey,
we
Jameis
love
is
Jameis.
bringing the Browns back, man.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them in just a second. Bears versus Vikings.
The purple people eaters are back.
Yeah.
And I think they're hot, and they're going to keep getting hotter.
Well, the Bears don't have a head coach.
They're going to put Williams on his back a lot.
Yeah.
So
Minnesota,
I'm sticking with that pick there.
Minnesota, I'm right there. There's 2 Monday Night Football games, Atlanta and the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders in this one. The thing about the Falcons is they can beat anybody. But the Raiders are crazy. As long as they've got Antonio Pierce, he's kind of like Dan Campbell a little bit, like feisty, fiery, just a total meathead linebacker, just ready to kill everybody. And you can get some really good games out of guys that are coaches that motivate that way with emotion and through defense. So I'm definitely taking the Raiders. You got the Falcons, or what do you got?
Yeah, I don't really.
That's the hard one.
For other teams in the NFC South because I'm trying to hang on to the lead right now with my team.
So you're rooting for the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going for Las Vegas.
All right. And then the Rams versus Niners. Hey, that was this last week. I picked that one. So the Rams.
Great game.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Okay, Thursday night, Denver versus LA Chargers.
What about those other games
We'll get right back to that's our finale. All the good ones.
All right, good, Jeff. 19th, Broncos Chargers. I go with Denver.
I'm taking LA. Yeah, it's that
we
one's...
got LA. We got LA tomorrow, and we might damage them even more because if they don't have their QB.
Oh, Herbert?
He went out. He went out late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him.
And what are they saying for Chargers?
Let's see what it says as far as the injuries.
They're playing the Bucks.
Yeah.
Let's go back up to
all the way up at the top. That's right. Chargers versus Bucks. It's a 3-point game projected. It is projected to be Herbert.
He's okay then.
Bucky versus Gus. Mike Evans versus the honky McConkey. Wow. Look at how many yards McConkey has. He has 50.
Questionable with a knee.
Well, he's the only wide receiver on that team at this point. So Mike Evans still looking like a beast. 7 touchdowns on the season. He'll
came back strong after that hamstring.
He'll play until he's 40, and then he'll switch positions to tight end. He'll play until he's 50.
He doesn't have the size.
Yeah, he's 6'4".
But he's 220. He's
he puts on like 30 pounds.
Oh, well.
Okay.
He wants to.
Patriots versus Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going with the Red Sea, man.
Yeah, dude.
Rise up, Red Sea.
Cardinals looking so good. And then Niners versus Packers. This is going to be a super tight game. This is actually kind of like the tightest rivalry in the NFC.
Niners and Packers. Are you seeing something wrong?
Well, no. I'm sorry. Seahawks and Packers.
Which my uncle and cousin will be at the game.
That'll be cool. But that, I think, is the strongest NFC rivalry. I mean, they have hated each other for so long. There have been so many tight games between those two. And
it's in Seattle, too.
And it's in Seattle. I'm taking Seattle on that one.
Yeah, go ahead. Go, Pack, go. Jordan Love's going to snap out of his little funk. He's going to throw for 350.
I don't doubt that. That wouldn't surprise me.
And run for maybe 60. He runs from key first downs.
Did you see the Seahawks have 2 beastly running backs? Charbonnet looks really
good. Wow, this guy's come out of nowhere all of a sudden.
I think those running backs can.
Good run.
Yeah.
Chardonnay, they keep calling him his nickname, Chardonnay.
And then they got Kenneth Walker III, who is also just insane. Yeah, so they got 2 incredible running backs out there. Okay, Kansas City versus the Browns.
I'm going with Jameis.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going with the power of Winston.
All right. I love Jameis. That guy, he makes me so happy. I love all his picks. And I love that he can win any game and lose any game. Yeah, I think the Chiefs take this one, of course. That's the game I'm going to be watching at 11 a.m. But
we're picked to lose the Chargers? Okay.
I don't see how. Well, I mean, Chargers are really good and they're at home. But SoFi Stadium is not really a home stadium, you know. You could go in there and you'll have half that stadium will be Tampa Bay.
We'll see.
Yeah. So before we get to the end, I would also like to shout out the Tombstone girls basketball team because we covered them a couple weeks ago. And I didn't really do a great job of saying how incredible those girls are. All those girls on that team are very, very talented. They've got a Penrose and Thornsby, whose dad is a principal, and then they've got a girl that's a shooting guard that comes off the bench who's pretty decent. They do a great job, and I expect that they're going to make the playoffs just like St. David always does, you know.
Oh, man.
So, watch Tombstone girls. Watch Buena boys are really good this year. Buena girls are really good this year.
Buena girls are playing hard for their new coach, Paco.
Yeah. And
shout out to Coach Torres coming back and getting things rolling. It's awesome.
Both the soccer team is really, I mean, they lost their very first game, but it wasn't by much. And our
girls went to the championship in the Brandon Bean Invitational. So
the girls look sick.
Coach Nacho's got them going.
Coach Nacho, man. Nacho team.
Ortega, let's go, man. Keep it rolling. Keep those girls focused. I know you will.
Yeah. We'd like to say thank you to
Ed Morse.
Ed Morse. Yeah, Tom.
Ed Morse.
Ed Morse. I'm not.
Motor Company.
Ed Morse, thank you so much. Thank you to the soap companies here, Vista Soap Company. Thank you to all of our sponsors. check them out on all of our sports pages.
And check us out later this afternoon from
Yes.
Marana High School.
Yes.
To check out and see where we're going to be for our medal rounds, and we'll be there live.
If you like wrestling, you got to watch what we're doing tonight. We're going to be, like Jarad said, we're covering the medal rounds. So that's going to be 2 or 3 hours worth of just hard wrestling going on. Like the very, very best of that invitational will all be playing at 4 or wrestling at 4 and then on into the evening. Jarad and I will be there, and we want you to check in with us. So if you can do that, we would really appreciate it. Anything you got to say before we get out of here?
No, man, just stay hydrated.
Oh, dude, that's my problem. Yep, good advice from Coach Young over here.
Keep the electrolytes flowing.
Yes.
Drink some pickle juice once in a while. It's okay. It's good for you.
And watch your sports. We got good college. We got good high school.
Gather around and watch that Army-Navy game today.
And subscribe to the YouTube channel. We want more people on that. So we will get a better video feed overall if we can get on YouTube. So if we can get more people on YouTube, we would love to do that. Anyway,
subscribe, folks.
Subscribe.
Get us going on there.
And take care, everybody. Stay warm. It's been cold out, and make sure your pets are nice and warm and well fed.
Enjoy your rest of the Saturday and the rest of your weekend. But we'll see you around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Thank you, Jarad.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.